Okay, this video is about my fodder system that I use to feed my chickens. So as you can see, I've got 10 trays, and this is super economical. I went to the 99-cent store and I bought kitty litter trays for $1 each. And then at the bottom, you can see I have these little buckets. These were sand pail buckets. And these were also 99 cents. They're the kids' buckets. Next to it, I have where I have my grain storage. And those containers there, I love these containers. I got these at IKEA. And you can see you just flip it open and you have your grain inside. And I had an old rack that I just put those on. On the top here, you can see where I have my grain that's been soaking. This has been soaking since yesterday when I put out the tray. I just keep my strainer in here and my wooden spoon for mixing the water and the grain. I do use bleach, just like a little less than a capful. And I mix in 3 cups. I have a cup measure. 3 cups of grain. I mix both wheat and barley. I can get both of those. I think, let's see, barley is $11.50 or $11.60 at the feed store, and wheat is $13. I do like the wheat better. It just seems to grow a little nicer, but the combination of the both really works well as well. So this whole system, because I have $10 in trays on the system. Well, actually, no, I have 12. I have $12 in trays on the system, and then I have a couple of extra trays just in case one of them breaks or cracks, you know, because they are from the 99-cent store. It's not like they are super durable, but at 99 cents, I'm not going to worry too much about it. So what happens is I pour the water from the top. I use 1 full jug of, I guess it's a gallon. Yeah, it's a gallon. I drink a lot of tea. And so I recycle those tea jugs and use them for the system. So I have 1 gallon of water that I'll put at the top, pour it down, and it drains down. Now on this rack, you can see I have, let's go to the side, I have the trays tilted, and I just use some scrap pieces of wood, yeah, it's 1/2 inch wood that I cut into pieces. And I put red tape because I was getting confused when I was pouring water in, and when I changed the trays and put the trays at the top, I'm like, which side is the holes in? I couldn't remember. Inside each of the trays, there are holes on each end here, and I just used a drill and a small drill bit and put a bunch of holes all along the edge here. So every one of these trays has little holes right at the edge. Now these do have a little lip at the bottom, so you got to make sure that you put the holes at the very edge. And when you tilt your trays, watch when it drains the first time when you use some empty trays, and see where the water is going so it's not splashing onto anything, because it is dripping down this system. And then it goes into these buckets at the bottom. It's empty right now because what I do is each morning when I take a tray out to the chickens, I go ahead and I empty these 2 green buckets onto, I have a couple of hanging flowers outside, and I go ahead and pour that water onto there because the water does get a little bit stinky from running through the grain. And you can see the growth here. Like this one will go tomorrow, and I switch from side to side on every day that I grab a tray. And I switch from side to side, and I take the whole tray out to the chickens and I just set it down, because what I was finding was when I was tearing it up, what the chickens will do is they'll start scratching the heck out of it, and then it gets just full of crap or whatever's on the ground, and then, you know, it just looks dirty and nasty. And I know chickens eat dirty, nasty stuff, but if I can prevent it, I will. So anyhow, I pour into the top, it goes down to the bottom. I took a tray out this morning to the chickens, and you can see on the bottom tray, it's a little bit different. I have what came with this metal rack was when they had it packaged, they had these little plastic pieces. Let me grab one out so you can see. They came inside there. And they're just little plastic pieces. And I wanted to have the bottom trays stable and be able to drain into a bucket. So inside of these, you can see I just have the 3 little holes. Well, these are a little bit bigger than the normal holes that I put in these things. And I just put 3 in the center. And because I have those little pieces, when I put the tray in, it drains automatically from the tray, and that holds it up enough so that it drains and you don't have any water stuck in the bottom of this. Now this is yesterday, as you can see it's still loose, and then this is 2 days where it starts to get, let me grab a little bit out, it starts to get the roots on it. You can see here. Then the next day it'll get little sprouts like this. The next day it's here, and the next day it's here. And then the following day it'll be as tall as this one, because I switched, like I said, from side to side. The chickens actually really love this stuff. Especially, I'm in California, we're going through a drought, especially in my area. There's no way I'm gonna water grass outside for chickens, and this takes a gallon a day. And like I said, I'm actually recycling that water as well, because I put that out on my hanging flowers on the outside. The whole system, it cost me $60 for this metal rack. I had a couple extra in the garage, but they were kind of being used, so I said, let's just get another one. And then it cost me, let's see, $12 for the trays, plus I bought a couple extra, so $14. So what am I up to? About $75, $76. It's under $80 for the whole system here. And you can store your grain however you want to store your grain. I just found these really handy from IKEA, and you know, because you can get to them very easily, and they close up and seal up very easily. And yeah, I strain out each morning. I take a tray out, and then I move my trays up. I come back in the house, I rinse this off, and that's why the strainer is here. I rinse it off with clear water after it's soaked, so I get all that bleach that I put in there, even though it's only very little bleach. Like I said, just like a capful. I rinse that out, put it into a tray, put it at the bottom, then I fill up the gallon of water, and pour that water down, and then I put in my 3 cups of seed into here to soak overnight, and then I'm done for the day, and that's it. And I'll come back as I walk through the house through the day. I'll go ahead and dump the water back through the system. I probably do that 2-3 times a day, and if I miss on doing it, I'm not that worried about it. It doesn't seem to have a terrible effect if I've only watered it once or twice. Even once, it still works and it still sprouts. It's just not as good of a sprouting when it does. So, and you'll see I have these trays on some levels. They're pulled out a little bit. It's just for drainage so that it's not splattering anywhere. And you can see I have a wood floor. It's not even real wood. It's the laminate click and lock flooring that I put down. And I don't have any leakage. I don't have anything on my walls. This system's been here for, oh geez, 4 or 5 weeks now. No problems whatsoever with leakage. The only time that I've ever had a drop of water go onto the floor is when I shuffle around a tray, and then I'll go ahead and empty the buckets after. So I'm learning to remember to empty out the buckets completely in the morning onto my flowers. Then I take the chicken tray out and let them go nuts on it. And I have to say, they absolutely love fodder. This is supposed to be really healthy for them. You should probably check out some other articles that I found online, and why I started doing this was not only for the economical benefits of, you know, getting extra feed for my chickens at a really cheap price, but it was also for health reasons, so that they could have some nice greens and very digestible and very healthy for them. Anyhow, so that's my video on my fodder system. Feel free to ask questions if you have any. Have a good one.